Good people, what's up? What's good, man? We are back with another episode of the 3 Milli Podcast. Blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith. And tonight is a very special night. We are on episode 100. We started off episode 1, and to be at this point is super, super dope. And today, as you can see, I have a very special guest joining me today, and that is none other than my girlfriend, my partner, the beautiful, illustrious Miss Sydney. And shout out to Devin for setting everything up, and Sydney as well.
Thank you.
And Miss Lay for filming. So, Sid, we are here.
We're here.
We're live at our space, episode 100. Episode 1. Millennial Masterclass series, Dontel and Antonio. I remember that episode. Yes. Yeah. Number 2 was Red Pill, and we filmed all of this in my parents' bathroom.
Yes, we did.
And this started on a cell phone and a ring light during COVID. So, Sid, how did 3 Milli Podcast start? The production company then birthed from that. Now you're at a space to where people imitate what you do.
Yeah.
Like, people see what's created and people try to imitate.
Yeah.
They say often replicated, never duplicated.
Often imitated, never duplicated.
Yeah, something like that. But knowing, and I would say for me personally, one of the coolest experiences, overall, is when people say, "Yo, how you edit X, Y, and Z was fire." I'm like, bro, that's not even me. That's Sid. Oh, word, that's Sid. And it's like so many people don't know that you're the actual genius behind this. Like,
because social media is not my thing.
Yeah,
that's and it's crazy that I say that because I literally am a social media manager.
That's
but if you go look at my own social media, like
you don't care.
I don't care because I don't know. I think I've spent so much time building our business. Like, I literally just post and go. Like, if it's not for 3 Milli,
you out of there.
I'm out of there. Yeah. But I think I have learned to play my role. Mm-hmm. I'm not the face of this company. I don't want to be. Mm-hmm. I appreciate how good of a job you do playing that role. I'm not the set designer. I help out, I assist, I add the pretty colors, but Devin is literally the genius behind all this. I think, honestly, if I had to say anything, I would say that Devin is the brains, you're the face, and I'm the neck. Like, that's literally how we are, and we operate as a team. So going back to your first question of how did 3 Milli Podcast start, I have to say that before there was a 3 Milli Podcast, it was 3 Milli Productions. Because when we first, Caleb and I remember that night at my granddad's, when we first were creating our YouTube channel, Caleb and I were like, this is going to be bigger than a podcast. Yeah. So let's not call it 3 Milli Podcast. From the beginning, our YouTube channel has been 3 Milli Productions. And I remember there was a time where people couldn't really find us because they were typing in 3 Milli Podcast, and we didn't have all of our ins and outs of our Google and everything matching. So people weren't able to find us. And we were discouraged for a little bit. We were about to change it to podcast. And I remember the night you were like, Sid, no, like, this is going to be Productions. Like, we can figure out other ways for people to be able to find us, but we are 3 Milli Productions. And to see from that conversation, we both were living at home. We were fresh out of college. Yeah. To see from that situation of just being, how old were we? 23 years old, trying and just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks, to now producing what we always dreamed of producing, not only for ourselves and our brand, but for other brands and for our friends and our family and even strangers. Today we had someone come from a Peer Space booking all the way from Memphis. Some of their guests were from Arizona. Arkansas. So it's crazy, that we have so many different people coming into our space, and to just see, like, we've always dreamed of a space downtown. Downtown is like our grassroots. We went to college out here. Ever since we went to Georgia State, we've always wanted to figure out a way to come back, not to live, definitely not to live.
I love downtown.
I love downtown though. So yeah, I'm proud of us. I'm very proud of us.
I am too. And I don't think people like truly understand. Well, I think that people do, because I've seen so many people start a podcast and think that it's so simple. And I think, for us, having a background in journalism and, used to edit some of my stuff in college, used to come through Clutch, is that we take storytelling so seriously.
Yes.
And we aren't trying to have a podcast or a platform where you're talking about viral things such as, should a man pay for all the bills or should he do the first date, last date? And it's like some of these things to me is just common sense.
Yeah.
Like if you are a man, if you are in a relationship, if that's your thing, do it. If you feel like what a high value woman is, then do it.
It's the opinions,
but one thing that I love is just, being able to actually have substance and meaningful conversations, and to say that it started off on episode number 1 and to say that you're in the triple digits, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, I just want to say that I appreciate you, because there's so many times to where I was grateful and just saying, Sid, like humbled by it, of, can you edit this for me? Yes. And people don't understand. I know y'all see the lives and all that, but when it first started, Sid was screen recording them. And just knowing that you created something that was so innovative that people had never seen before, of an Instagram live conversation being turned into a YouTube conversation, and then being able to monetize those conversations, you were thinking 10 steps ahead of the game. Yeah. People were just thinking about, okay, I'm going to go on Instagram live because it's COVID, I have nothing to do. Yeah. Instead, we were like, yo, especially you, this podcast is going to keep going. Because what a lot of people don't understand is when we first started, we were filming at Bandwidth Studios.
Yes.
We had a group.
Shout out to them.
We had a group podcast. Yeah. It was multiple people on the podcast. It wasn't just me. And then from there, COVID happened. And then from COVID, it was, okay, we're going to keep filming this podcast.
And that was a battle, not to cut you off, but that was a time of, I think, the both of us realizing that we can do this on our own. Because I remember we drove up to the park. It was late one night. And we drove to the park just to clear our heads. And I told you, I said, Caleb, having a team is amazing, but we're a team within each other. And I told him, any show that he goes on to and he is not the host and doing it himself, you were holding yourself back. Because a lot of times you were stuck in conversations of, just millennial lifestyle, what's the hottest thing on social media, what's the newest drama going on. And I told him, that's not what you want to do. You want to talk about history. You want to educate your community. You're not going to be able to do that as long as you're holding yourself back for a show that that you're not, this isn't your journey. And that's no knock to anyone. It just was not your fit. And it was very, very obvious because you always ran into friction. And one thing that I definitely try to understand in life is when you're going down the right path, it's going to be hard. There's going to be challenges. But when you literally keep hitting a wall and it feels like you're stepping outside of yourself to become something that you're not, to squeeze through, 9 times out of 10, you're not going the right route. And out of my 25 years, every time that I can think back to where I felt like I was squeezing myself, I wasn't on the right path. And whenever I would just take a deep breath and let myself be as loud and as big and as, who I am, that's when I would feel the most accepted and the most on the right path. So not to shift gears, but let's talk about more so the journey of where we've been, of how we've kept ourselves sane spiritually, financially, emotionally, and even kept our relationship. Because as you said before, I'm not just your girlfriend, I'm your business partner. That's hard within itself, because our relationship was one way for we've had so many changes. When we shifted from high school to college, everybody told us we were going to break up, and that it was impossible, and we shifted, and it was hard. It was some days, we broke up in college, got back together, like it was definitely challenging. But we figured it out. And then from college, we went into after college, which is, I'd say, for any young adult, that 23, 24, especially if you're coming fresh out of school, is the hardest time of your life, because you're figuring out yourself, but you're also so financially responsible for yourself. A lot of us don't have the option to just move back home. I didn't. I had to move in with a grandparent. And that was a challenge. I was grateful because I was 5 minutes down the road from you. We went back to our hometown, but it still was a challenge because I was scared, again, touching on my fear of being stagnant. So definitely I feel like we've gone through shift after shift. And then after that, we moved into our own space, and we both were working 9 to 5s just to keep a roof over our head. We were determined to keep a roof over our head, and we did that. And then it was a shift of, okay, but I don't feel served. So then we shifted into full-time business partners. How do you think, as a man, that has gone for you, especially since there's no example set for us immediately when it comes to our immediate family, when it comes to being full-time business partners. How did you navigate that?
Man, one day at a time.
Yeah.
And two, I mean, at the time it was something that was fresh.
Yeah.
It was something that was new. And I think it's just figuring out how to handle just basic creative differences and not letting that bleed into your actual relationship.
Yeah.
And I think, I had to learn how to separate relationship versus business.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point, you saw it earlier today throughout this week. I really don't talk about it unless it's about something cool, like creating something.
Yeah,
but
not in a stressful way anymore.
Nah, but I think that comes from experiences, and that comes from setting up systems. So, in the past, a client booking used to be a big deal for us. We used to have to shut everything down, make sure this camera's working, that camera's working. Now we just show up to the studio. We already have client agreements sent via email. We already have videographers to set up. We already have the equipment that's here. We already have the space that's set up. But that had to come from experiences. And then I think from setting up systems from previous experiences allowed me to be more hands-off, not too hands-off, but when it comes to like the business now, really, and we were just talking about this on the phone, that everything feels easy now. Yeah. And I'm not saying that in a way of, oh, it's just easy. No, it's not. But things feel easier because we used to have to be super hands-on. And I think once you start setting up systems in place, you start realizing, okay, now I can free up myself as a person, and I'm not consumed by business. Because there was a point where I would talk about it with you all day, every day, and we weren't having fun anymore.
No, we had lost ourselves.
But now we're starting to ease back and just enjoy it. How does it feel now, Sid, being where we're currently at and knowing what it took to get to this point? I think, everybody sees this like final product, but what have we kind of went through? And I know we're going to talk about that later with Devin, of course, but what did it take just to get to this point? How much hard work goes into this? How much dedication, how much perseverance goes into this?
I have never done something so challenging, and that requires so much of me. We have given 3 Milli Productions our all, to the point to where there were times where we were looking in both of our accounts and they're both overdrawn. And when you look at the transactions, it's not, oh, we went out and got new shoes. Oh, we went out and did a date. No, it's, oh, we were buying wood. Oh, we were buying cameras. Oh, we were replacing microphones. And for a long time, I think this has definitely been the hardest 7 months of our lives. We definitely have had to come together as a team. I can't express how much support your parents, your grandparents, Zach, my brother Devin, and just our overall Mama D, shout out to Mama D, and just the overall support of our team and how much that has gotten us through, because I feel like not only did I want to get up in the morning and work harder towards 3 Milli for you, but I've developed a sense of responsibility for everyone. If our parents and if everyone's going to put their all into this, I can't disappoint them. Yeah. So it's still a challenge every day. We have our good days, we have our bad days. I can say that within the last 30 to 60 days, I've had some of the best days of my life. Not only with just my baby, but also just within my business. I feel like I know myself so much more as a woman and as a businesswoman. I know myself so much more as a partner. I feel like I've learned what to give you as a partner, romantically, spiritually, emotionally, and business-wise. So I definitely say that I'm appreciative and proud of the progress that we've made. And I'm excited to see where we're going to go. Yeah. So I pose that same question back to you.
Yeah. I'm having fun, but two, I don't think people just like truly understand. You know, it takes a lot. Like, you have to make sure that you're filming for your podcast. Yeah. But then at the same time, you have to make sure that other people's podcast is going great for, you know, our production company. So it's kind of like having
tonight.
Yeah, like,
we
you know, earlier client booking. Yeah.
We had to flip the set. Caleb, me, Lay, Devin, we flipped the set. This is Lay's first shoot.
Yeah, shout out to Lay.
Shout out to Lay. She came into the midst of just chaos and just ran with it.
Facts.
We've been moving couches. We've moved chairs. We've flipped the whole studio space. And we're still having to be present. I mean, Caleb literally is working on 2-3 hours of sleep right now, and you have a show tomorrow, and we have a client tomorrow. So that's the perfect example of what you were saying.
Yeah, like, you know, grinding is like so important to me. And I think when people see a final product, and I think that's why I care so much, and I'm so sensitive about the space. I'm so sensitive about our team. I'm so sensitive about how people are talked to, how people are treated in this space, because people don't understand, like, to even get into this space, it took crazy times. It took times of saving. It took times of 12-hour shifts at work. It took times of, you know, knowing that you invested so much in previous spaces that you had to double up for your permanent space. And it's like, dang, God, you know, I've been through being burned so many times. I've been through our equipment being stolen. I've been through just craziness that people don't know about, you know, been through people trying to take over what you have going on because they want everything that it's pretty much producing, and just being able to continuously keep moving forward. And, you know, even in times of certain bookings or a booking per se, to where even if like a client can make like sly comments, I'm the type of person, like, I'm so sensitive now that I care, because I know what went into just making this look the way that it looked.
Sensitive about your shit.
I am. But, you know, growing up as a kid, I used to always wonder why people like Kanye were the way that they were. Yeah. And it's like, now I completely get it. Because when you put in blood, sweat, and tears into a project, and of course, you'll 9 times out of 10, for all the creatives out there, you will always have people who will always appreciate and see the vision. And you'll always have that 10% or 5% who don't, or who try to find something wrong with it. Yeah. And I guess throughout this process, I've learned from being a people pleaser, that used to be my biggest flaw, to now knowing what you have and to stand on that. And I think from going through trials and tribulations, that's the most valuable lesson that I've learned, is that you deserve to feel a certain type of way about your business, about your people, and to also take pride into all the hard work, because every trial and tribulation is made for that. Yeah. So you can always feel as confident as possible.
And a lot of times the people in your life who are that 5 to 10% that are not supporting you, sometimes they can be the people closest to you. And that's what I went through. Family, friends. I've never had such a massive decrease in the amount of support I have. I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that I am a woman. And I don't stay in my place, the place that's given to me. I definitely am a shark when it comes to business. And I'm a shark not only when it comes to business, but when it comes to my tribe. I'm always going to be protective. So definitely had to learn the lesson that it's lonely at the top. And that doesn't mean that you're better than, that doesn't mean that you place yourself on a pedestal, but it means that you were rising closer to the top. TD Jakes was preaching about, when you're on the way to the top of the mountain trying to reach to God, it's going to be the hardest journey of your life. You're going to lose people. If you set your pace to your group and the people around you, a lot of times that will hold you back.
That's right.
So it's a lot of different lessons. TD Jakes definitely has been our spiritual father through all of this. Not that I know him personally. I don't. Not yet. But I feel like I do when I watch his sermons. Me and you watch maybe 4 or 5 sermons of his a week. My brother Devin as well. So yeah, I definitely I'm grateful. It's crazy that we've made it to 100 episodes. We've made it way past 100. Some episodes weren't able to be used.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't know about.
Really
or post it or save.
We probably are really closer to like 130, 140. If we factored in every, like we were telling you, we were recording them live. A lot of those were lost in the process. So I'm proud of where we've come. I'm excited to see where the rest of 2022 ends up.
Facts.
And
yeah, man, that's our time. In closing, I appreciate you, Sid. It is just the beginning. It's only going to get better. Thank you, Lay, for filming this.
Thank you, Lay.
Man, to all the creatives out there, just keep pushing. And even when it feels impossible, work even harder. Even when you feel like you can't work harder, work harder, work harder.
And work smarter.
Work smarter as well. I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sorry.
That's right. No. Hey, you read my mind. Work smarter and keep going. One day at a time. Keep building brick by brick. We appreciate y'all. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And after this, we'll have Devin pull up and we're going to chop it up with him as well. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Peace.
Part 2. Peace.
Good people. What's up? What's good? Blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith. Today is a very special day, a very special night. We are on episode 100 of the 3 Milli Podcast. It's been a very long journey. And this journey would not have been possible without these 2 amazing people that you guys see on my right-hand side. I know you guys see the podcast. You see all the cool guests. great conversations, but it's more than just one person. It's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you guys don't know about. And today, we just want to chop it up and, let you guys behind the veil somewhat. Shout out to Miss Lay for filming this. And yeah, we are live here at our studio space. For all the people who don't know, we went to school at Georgia State, so being here back on campus is a dope vibe. But before we get into all that great stuff, we got the beautiful Miss Sydney.
Hello,
and
hello.
We got the coolest person, the coolest designer in the world, the best driver in the world, get you wherever you need to be, the best heart in the world, best realtor in the world, Devin Rashad. What's up, Devin?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Yes, sir. So Sid, Devin, today we just gonna chop it up and just talk about how we got here. It is episode 100, and for everybody out there, Sid, I know y'all see her as my girlfriend, but she's actually my business partner, confidant, everything, and everything that y'all see is Sid and Devin. The setup, that's Devin from head to toe. This building is pretty much Devin from head to toe.
Okay.
When we first toured this space, it looked completely different, and I wasn't a fan of it.
At all.
That's true.
At all.
And it takes having, people who have different sets of eyes and opinions around. But Devin does operations from head to toe. So whether it's set design, whether it's coming up with contracts, whether it's coming up with new ideas, innovation, that's Devin. I call him our George Washington Carver, who was an engineer, flat out genius. If you guys have seen Vikings, Floki, who was a goat to me. He built boats, and any vision that people would have, they would give it to Floki and to George Washington Carver, and they would bring it to life. And that's what Devin does. And Sid, with the dope edits, she edits everything. She's a great social media person, great person for editing. Just having like a great creative eye. So all the colorways and things like that, that's all Sid. But
Thank you.
yeah, I've said enough, but y'all are the ones who do everything. So for all the people out there, or just like right now, what has this whole experience been like for not only the past few months, now we can say for the past years? Been a little vibe.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has.
It's definitely been a lot of ups and downs, more ups than downs, I'd say.
Yes.
Definitely more ups than downs.
All of them came together.
Yeah.
Always.
Everything came together to kind of make it all make
beautiful.
sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes it got to a point where it was a little sketchy,
Yeah.
or like we always say, oh God, it's another character. That's a whole nother part,
In our book.
Yes.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's personally the reason that I'm so invested is because I can see the need.
Yeah.
That there's a need for what you all are trying to do.
Yeah.
And I just want to, I'm blessed to be a blessing, and I just want to do my part to help get you where you need to be. Yeah. And honestly, I appreciate all of the kudos and it's kind of hard to listen to.
Folks like flowers, man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But ultimately my thing is, and I learned this from my pastor. Obviously, I'm not a permanent part essentially of Milli Productions.
Yeah.
I'm doing my part while I'm here. Yeah. And then the next person will step in, who will be even more qualified. Because as you said,
this is it.
I'm gonna let you think that. Devin.
When you get too busy.
Well, I mean, and there's that.
Yeah.
But also, like you said, I write contracts. I do, but I'm not. That's not my. I'm not. Trained.
I feel that.
I mean, I do it with real estate, but typically those contracts have been pre-written by lawyers who have decades of experience, and I am going based on, just what I know right now is, whatever resources I have. Yeah. So obviously there's somebody who's more qualified. Yeah. But I'm just kind of laying the path, and then they'll take it off and run with it, and that's perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, I mean, it's built the same way for you all.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Ultimately this thing will run itself, and you'll just be in the background.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, that's a fact.
Definitely.
Sid, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling proud.
You were here from really episodes where we started off at Bandwidth in East Point, just 5 minutes from Devin's home. And, we were filming at HQ Studios. We were filming at Blend. And then now, you can say that you have your first permanent space, like permanent space, where it's like name is on the lease type of space. Yeah. But, all right, like this is me.
This is it. Yeah, it's all on us.
You can look out the window and know that we used to film for Georgia State Signal right across the street, or CMI building where we used to work, or Giants. You remember where Issa Rae, all of them interviewed them at CMI building right across the street just a few years back, and now knowing right across the street again is see a spot?
It's definitely a full circle moment. I have to pinch myself sometimes. I'm definitely an overthinker in the sense of I never want to be stagnant. So I think that's what drives me every day is the fear and vulnerability of becoming stagnant. Being stagnant can be a good thing because you want a level of stability in your life. But if there's anything I've learned since doing 3 Milli is to always be open to change and to always trust that God already has your steps in order. Sometimes it may seem like you're stepping off the path, but as long as you continue to follow him, you'll get right back on set. So definitely my relationship with God has grown. It's had to. That's the only thing that's kept us going at times. My relationship with my brother has grown immensely. Immensely. I mean, we never have had the opportunity in life to spend this much time together.
I'm in the stands just watching.
Yeah, like literally we talk on the daily. So I'm grateful for that. So yeah, it's been a beautiful journey. Beautiful journey.
Yeah. And we've had ups and downs. We've had challenges. So, you know, when people come to creative overloads, they don't know sometimes like what all of us had to go through just to make that happen.
We planned the first one in a week.
Yeah. Oh, and let's just talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Like the fact that, I mean, I just want give you all.
Creative overload, I have it on debit.
Okay.
But not only just the creative overloads, just learning this stuff so fast, having situations and scenarios thrown at you, and it, it's like you just have to pick it up and keep moving, and as I'm tell you, sometimes you just have to pivot, because the plan is this way, but then you've thrown a wrench and you have to turn, and so you have to keep going. It's not an option
you don't
to
have
stop.
an option,
you have to keep going. I mean, one of the first examples of that happening was the first creative overload.
First creative overload,
and we found out, kind of like 2 hours to start time. You got to have security.
Yes.
And,
by the way, that's going to be $150.
Yeah. And so, of course, that money was not in the budget.
We had to pay for the food truck. We had to pay for the food on top of the food truck.
Had to figure
what else we had to pay for?
I mean, it
was just go down the list that people don't know about.
It was a lot.
And so just for people who may not be familiar.
Too. You remember that, Devin?
Yeah. Creative Overload is essentially an open house for the studio. Shameless plug.
Right.
Okay.
Keep an eye out for the next Creative Overload.
Very soon
in October.
Very soon.
It's going to be a big open house. It's going to have vendors, performers.
Okay. Sponsored by Rock Real Estate.
Just kind of getting back to the point, but the Creative Overload, to find out we needed security was like, oh my God, are you serious? And
it was a Friday night.
I
want to say that it was Labor Day weekend, wasn't it?
It was one of the holidays.
It was a holiday
y'all
weekend.
Y'all want to know what? We found them on Thumbtack.
We did.
In 2 hours.
But when I say it was like spot on,
yes,
and it was something that had never really crossed our mind.
Until that day.
And then once we had, and it's not like, oh God, it was crazy.
But it was an unexpected crowd. We weren't expecting that many people.
We weren't expecting that amount of people.
No.
That's right.
And to try to manage that with the three of us, in plain clothes, like sometimes it's psychological. So having that, individual in uniform, obviously nobody's afraid of them, but
of course,
it just kind of helped. Keep
safety.
Keep safety as a top priority. And if nothing else, it made the guests feel that much safer.
Yes.
What's crazy, y'all, we use that same company for every creative overload.
Yeah, I mean, it created a relationship.
Yeah,
it definitely created a relationship.
Conrad, shout out to you, Mass Security. Much love, man.
Definitely.
Okay.
Because, even like going off of things that have just been thrown in, like even with the space, when we first came into the space, we had the ugliest green carpet. And we were looking at this green carpet and we had one plan, and that plan didn't work, and we went to another plan, and that plan didn't work.
What was the first plan with the carpet?
The first plan was that we were going to use only 3 bottles of adhesive, and that was going to cover the whole space.
That's kind of like a blur for me.
Yeah, adhesive remover.
I mean, honestly,
we went through
week after, I just didn't even want to drive down Peachtree Street.
No. We all had to take a break. Yeah, we had so much goo and different things. It was chaos. And
y'all, we didn't even think about all this equipment had to come up here. So
we had to move all the equipment in. I mean, we signed the lease May 1st. I'm sorry, and May 6th or 7th we had a booking. Was it the 7th?
It was the 7th. I want to say it was an even week later.
So
we had to be on it. And again, like I said, you learning these things and going through this. First of all, the carpet had been down here since like 1994.
Yes.
That's right.
Let's just on a scientific level, it was fused in a different way. But the point is, it's bigger than just the carpet. It's like the process.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
going through that process and starting with one thing and looking for an end result. We didn't get the exact end result that we wanted, but we got something that was actually a little bit better. We weren't expecting. So, I mean, but again, it's just like a testament to the whole thing, just sticking with it, just continuing to push through, just grinding and making it happen.
So we've had challenging times, we've had great times, and again, y'all, it's been a journey. Devin came at such a pivotal time too.
Yes.
To where, you know, we were in a mindset of thinking that we always needed to collaborate with other people. And I remember one time when Devin said, if one more person asked to collaborate, we not gonna do it. Yeah. And at the time, I was like, dang, for real? And now, boy, when I tell you, I'm at the point, we made. It's like, what can you do for us?
Yeah.
That's
because
true.
At the end of the day, now I know our value like 110%.
And that's not even interrupting, but that's not coming from a place of arrogance.
It's never.
It's coming from a place of knowing your worth and knowing what you need versus what you don't need. There are so many people who see the vision and they kind of just want to bandwagon. And I know it sounds really bad with me saying it. You know, it sounds kind of arrogant, but it's facts, right? And it's not coming from a place of, you know, thinking that we just all it. No. You know, and again, you know, it's really just coming from a place of knowing what you put in. And when you work so closely with something and create something, you kind of get to know all of the intimate details of it, and you know what you need versus what you don't need.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, you know, thanks, but no thanks. We don't really need anybody to come and push the broom. We can handle that part right now.
That's
you
right.
know? Or whatever the case may be, you know, somebody to come and light candles for us. No, we're good on that.
We're good on that. Like, we'll do it because I think with a lot of businesses, what happens is, and we were just talking about this the other day, but people, they get so high and mighty that they're not willing to do the work. And one thing that I pride myself in and pride ourselves in is that we do the work. Like, anybody that comes into the studio will tell you, like, we're in here. People, to the point to where people ask, well, who owns the studio? Because they would never expect that the owners of something like this are the people that are adjusting your mics, fixing your hair. We're in here. If a light falls, if any, operating the audio. I've literally learned the audio in a month or two. But to me, my thing is, I can't expect for my team to do anything that I'm not willing to at least learn.
And let's just put that in context.
Yeah.
Okay, so people come to this studio. Where do they come? The studio is located at 34 Peachtree.
They would take pride in that. He be sitting in
Atlanta, Georgia.
In Atlanta, Georgia. So we're downtown. I'm talking walking distance to, you know, Underground Atlanta,
Centennial.
State Farm Arena.
And so individuals come to this place in such a, you know, important
you
part
can walk
of Atlanta,
anywhere. Like, you don't have to drive.
And they're like, oh, you're the studio owners? Like, this is yours?
This is yours?
You're not like Georgia State interns? And we love the Georgia State interns.
Okay, go first.
But what I'm saying is, my point is that, again, to the point of age, and I mean, you know, take all of those limits off.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes, it's yours. And you're here, hands-on working, not just breaking your back, you know, but making it work.
Of course.
And people don't expect it.
They don't.
You know,
they don't.
But that's because, for whatever reason, individuals think that that's not a part of the process.
Yes,
that's something that you don't have to put in. Yeah, you do.
You do.
You know,
you do. I mean,
and when you do that, I'm sorry.
No.
When you do that, it makes you care about it way more. Does. But then also, you know, those details of your product, or your business.
You can't get over on me no more.
Right.
You can't. You can't. And I mean,
I did that job before.
Okay, like, and a lot of times that's what happens. Like, we get people in every role, and they come in, they say that's not possible. And we'll pull it up on our phone. We just did it.
Yeah. Yes.
We just did it. And honestly, that's like the grassroots of 3 Milli Productions, because we started out in a bathroom with the iPhone 7, 8.
At my parents' house.
At his parents' house.
Hold on, don't do me like that.
No, that was 2020. It was an 8.
It was a 10.
It was a 10. Okay, iPhone 10. iPhone 10.
Wait, I did not have a button on my phone.
I wasn't no squirt like
2016, 2015.
But no, iPhone 10. I think that you had just gotten it though, and
you see what she doing? I think you just got. All right, keep going.
I think you just got
it. Me in the middle.
He always try to. No. It's Caleb.
I'm just joking.
But yeah, so we started out with the iPhone 10.
That's right.
And we were recording back then with Instagram. When you went on Instagram Live,
in a boot, right?
You were in a boot. Yeah. On Instagram Live, you couldn't save after. So the live was live. Like, there was no saving afterwards. So I would have to be in Caleb's bedroom. And at that time, we raised in a household, ain't no bedrooms, ain't no chilling upstairs. So we used to have to beg Caleb's parents, like, I promise you, we're working. Just got
back from college, you grown.
Yeah. Well, you ain't grown. We literally had to beg his parents, like, we promise you, we're upstairs working. And at first, they were like, podcast, like, what, because no one was really doing that. But the more that I remember, your dad would step into Zach's old room and he would listen to the interviews. That's when, like, the respect and the understanding for what we were trying to do really grew. And I definitely can say,
you would be screen recording live.
Yeah, screen recording live, and then take that screen recording and that same day put it onto the computer, which already was like a challenge, because how do you get this from an iPhone to a PC?
Oh, in that time I was using my Georgia State student computer.
Yes.
I'm not supposed to say that. Georgia State, I love y'all.
We stole it. After all the money, you're going to give us this computer, okay?
It was touchscreen.
What's the little clip with this? I'm going to walk out with something.
Yeah.
Get something.
I got to take something away from the experience.
So, yes, we definitely were some thieves, but that laptop started 3 million. We used that laptop for almost a year.
Ground, man.
Yeah, and we would get the transferred files, and I had no idea how to do Adobe like that. Yeah, we would well, those were the days before we used WeTransfer. We would physically physically plug it into the cord,
That's
the USB
Wait
cord.
For it to show up.
Wait for it to show up. And I mean, I won't give you guys the full, but it was the dark age.
Look, dark ages.
But the crazy thing is, with all those trials and tribulations, I would stay, this is during the pandemic, I would stay at Caleb's house from maybe 10 a.m. that morning.
We would do like 5 interviews in a day?
We would. And I would edit every single interview and have them loading onto YouTube before I left, because we weren't living together at that time. So I didn't know if I was going to see him the next day. At that time, I had a sick person in the family. I was taking care of them. So we would try to maximize our days. We only saw each other 2 or 3 times a week.
That's right.
Caleb was in a boot.
Yeah, Caleb was in a boot. I was healing from surgery.
What happened? It was a
torn
football
Achilles
injury?
Yeah,
playing
football with my friends. We was up. We was killing them too.
Caleb was out of commission.
Yeah. But honestly, though, 3 million.
But still pushing through.
Man, Devin, let me tell you something. And what was so full circle, the first person that we had on was my man Red Pill.
Yeah. Yes.
And Red Pill, I had interviewed him when I was at State as well. And to have done the first one with Red Pill, and then to do one of the first episodes 2 years later at our studio space with none other than Red Pill.
Yes.
In person, who actually saw the growth.
And has supported the growth.
I was a college student.
Yes.
Then to interviewing him on live in the bathroom. Then to now he pulls up at HQ Studios.
Yes,
that's true.
And then he pulls up now to our actual space.
Our permanent space, yeah.
And again, man, I tell people, y'all know I'm a Capricorn, overachiever by nature, but a lot of this would not be possible. I feel like all of it without y'all, because so many times you can have all the ideas in the world, but if you don't have people around you who can help you execute those ideas and who can give you more ideas and better ideas, it'll be nothing like y'all, the LED light pole. Like, that's Devin.
Yeah.
The Goddess lights is Sid.
But it's playing your role. And I think all of that goes back to realizing it's not a knock to you or your pride or your character if you admit that you don't know how to do something.
Right.
And at the end of the day, like, I give my kudos to you because you're the face of this company. I would never be on camera every week. Never. I mean, you had to pull teeth for me to come on camera today. Like, being on camera, doing interviews, it's not my thing. I'm more of the editor. I'm behind the scenes. So I applaud you because you play your role when it comes to that. You always have consistent guests. You always have heavy hitter guests. And you've never sold out. Your conversations have always been around Black excellence within our community, and even not all the good things. You talk about the history and the things that we've been through, ways that we can improve as a community. So you're actually feeding into your community and giving young Black girls and Black boys something to watch that's not about booties and alcohol and
trying to go viral.
And don't get me wrong, I support everybody has their niche, everybody has their area and their lane, as long as we stay in that. But I do applaud you for never doing that. Even when times people came to us and said, oh, y'all need to make your channel a couples channel. I'm not pimping out my relationship for views. So even when there were times where the views were slow, there were 2 people watching, we still were putting in, to this day, I mean, not every video is going to hit, but we still put in 100% effort, because like you were just telling me this morning about the video with, I can't think of, Ellie.
Shout out to Ellie, man.
Shout out to Ellie.
She's going to be here next Friday for Invest Fest. During that time, Ellie had 4,000 followers.
Yes.
Ellie now has 1 million followers.
Yes.
We talked to Ellie on live in 2020.
And that video sat at 10 views
and then
for
now it's
months.
Over 1,000.
Yeah, it's one of our most watched videos. So that was a lesson for us. But yeah, I applaud you on that too, Caleb.
Thank you. I appreciate
because
y'all.
that's a harder journey.
And man, speaking to y'all's work, what's crazy is one of the guests who recently came in, he was from Birmingham, and he told us, through Milli Productions, he saw the sign. He was like, yo, I seen your podcast before. I was like, for real? He was like, yeah, bro, y'all had a red pill on, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, bro, that's fire, man. Like the set, like I remember this set, all that stuff. Yep. And then I was like, yo, like Sid and Dev, like they created this. So just knowing, man, like y'all never know who's watching. So
that's dope. That's, you know, again, all of the pieces tying in. You know?
Yes.
All the pieces coming together.
That's right, man. I appreciate y'all. I know we got 5 minutes left, but in these closing 5 minutes, overall, right, a lot of people don't know, and of course we don't have to go like crazy in depth or anything like that, but we've gone through us, you know, having to go through having our belongings, having to find a permanent space, and moving from space to space, whether it's because noise or whether it's because we aren't getting maximized value out of the space, to now have our permanent space where it's just us and it's quiet. Like, people don't know how we had to pull off certain times and bookings and making sure that this person's filming at that time when it's quiet, and move that around. So how does it feel now just to walk in and know that you have a key, that you can open up the door at any time, you can walk in at any time, and that you can just have peace and just walk into your space and know like it's ours? Like, you don't have to really think about it too much. And knowing from where we started to now where we're at, how does that feel?
For me, it definitely feels like I finally feel like I'm walking in the path that was laid for me. I finally feel like God isn't tugging because I'm finally I'm flowing. And it's scary because you're like, you go through life, we all get accustomed to, okay, when is it going to mess up? When is something going to go bad? But I have shifted that mindset a lot, or at least tried to, and still trying. But I definitely just feel grateful every day. I mean, every client that we get, the hard ones, the easy ones, the repeat, every client that we get is a blessing, even the hard ones. But I definitely just feel appreciative. I feel appreciative for my team. But yeah, I to sum it up, I just feel grateful.
Yeah.
And excited for the future, because if we can accomplish this, I can't wait to see us in 5 years, even a year from now.
Yeah. Right. Hard times, you know. Devin, some people don't know about hard times, and you know, some people can over exaggerate it, just try to say it because it sounds cool. But we've actually had tough times. You know, we've had times where we've exacerbated every type of resource, financially, emotionally, spiritually,
every resource,
and especially like the emotional part. You know, not to kind of jump back in, but you know, some of those challenges. You know, like even right now, I mean, it still bothers me that, you know, it took some of those things to happen. However, you know, had they not happened, and in the ways that they went down, you know, certain lessons wouldn't have been learned. You know, and so unfortunately, apparently God knows best. And so certain things and situations had to happen, but you know, thankfully, like I said, you know, we learned what we were supposed to learn from them. I hope we learned all that we were supposed to learn from it, but most importantly, they didn't stop us. We didn't stop growing. If anything, you know, we took those things in stride, and you know, prayer for the individuals that, because we lost a lot of people along the way too,
family and friends.
That's like so true. So when we say, that's one of the running jokes, you know, is like, you know, how characters just, you know, it's like a movie. Like you can't write this stuff. You know?
Some come for an episode, a season.
Some for a season, some for an episode, special guest appearance. You know, and so
special guest appearance.
It makes it fun. You know, it keeps it fresh. But you know, nonetheless, that still was a lot too, because once all the lights are turned off, doors are locked up, and everybody's at home, and it's still, you know, your life.
You're still dealing with that.
And you have to keep living through it, you know, and tomorrow is coming and you don't have the answers, but you got to keep living, you know? And so that's one of the best things, just keep living.
Man, again, let me tell y'all, because y'all deserve y'all's flowers, you know, in closing. Again, this would not be possible without y'all at all. Y'all are both geniuses. You can tell y'all are brother and sister. Y'all are killing it. And Devin, I'm telling you, man, you aren't going anywhere. We got you. We will always make sure that you are truly taken care of, respected by every client who walks in. That's why we make sure we let people know It's not just a regular person over there. So if you see him telling you what to do,
you better do it.
Please.
Because he did the set.
Please. All of this is him.
But he knows Sydney, what he's talking about.
Devin, thank y'all. Y'all are truly God's gift.
Thank you.
People don't understand how smart y'all are, how intelligent y'all are.
Thank you.
Everything that y'all see, literally, is them around here. So thank y'all again. It's just the beginning. I'm having one hell of a time every single day with y'all. I appreciate it. Every single day is fun.
Amen.
Whether it's a crazy client that I'm getting sensitive about. Because I remember earlier, I was like, Devin, just the energy, just all upon me. He's like, hey, we got to keep moving.
Got to keep
I'm
rolling.
Like, dang, you right. Yep. So when I get home, then I can soak some more. But
we'll talk about it.
But honestly, I have learned just to keep moving, keep going forward one step at a time. So again, episode 100. This is part 1 of it. Blessed be your host, Caleb Smith, Sydney, and Devin. They're killing it. And this is just the beginning. Y'all going to see a whole lot more of them. So see y'all soon. Peace.
Peace.